Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about the seesaw effect. What is that? I kind of made that up. So, but there is a seesaw effect. Anything that's compliance-based, when a patient is not compliant and wears it intermittently instead of consistently, when the directions were given to wear them consistency, has a seesaw effect. So braces don't necessarily have a seesaw effect, but elastics on braces would have a seesaw effect, right? If you only wore your elastics intermittently and not consistently, assuming that's the goal was to fix like maybe extrude a tooth, for example. Let's say we were wearing triangle elastics to extrude this tooth in a light wire, just for example. It probably wouldn't be the best example. But anyway, nah, it's actually not because it's in a light wire. Bad example. But anything that's intermittent. So, okay, let's go back to aligners. If we only wear our aligners and let's say 8 is rotated and has a heavy contact and on the lower, if we only wear it intermittently and when we wear it, it's better and it's not hitting, but when we don't wear it, it is hitting. It's a seesaw effect, right? Because it's bad for half the day and then good. So basically, it's never fully moving. Like just like this wire can start to move the tooth and the crown might look like it's moving, but the root hasn't moved yet. You'll start to see a widened PDL and the little roots have the little bungee cords and stuff like that. That movement is not complete. It might look like it moved in the mouth. Number 8 might look like it moved. The lower tooth might look like it extruded, but all it is being pulled up on bungee cords until the cement or the new osteoblast and osteoclast can finish resorbing and applying new bone. That takes 4 to 5 weeks, okay, for the new bone after that little movement to happen, okay? Whereas, braces, you're going to have one big movement, right? A big tightening, and then 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 10 weeks in between appointments where the bone comes down. That's much more intermittent than an aligner, which is changed every 7 days. That's a tiny little incremental force. But if your aligner treatment plans has too many big steps in between aligners instead of too many little steps, it can basically make it similar where you can get to root resorption from intermittent wear, if that makes sense. So that's a seesaw effect. And a lot of times people just keep going with non-compliant patients. Keep going. No, let's try again. You got to look at the roots because if we start getting blunting or widened PDLs, yeah, guess what? We're stopping. Now there's permanent damage that's starting to occur because of this intermittent seesaw effect. We're not going to let you do this anymore, So, and no, putting braces on isn't always an option because if you've already gotten the root resorption and the damage, like here or here, the damage already occurred. Doing braces will make it way worse. We're done. Restorative, build it up, use equilibration, whatever we got to do. So that's why I want to make sure you guys in your non-compliant patients are taking progress x-rays, checking for mobility, checking for high contacts, because I have seen enough doctors have patients lose teeth because they were pushing for compliance too hard. And what is the point of being compliant if you're going to lose a tooth or need root canals or stuff like that? There's a point where you just got to let the patient go and say, I'm sorry, this is not working out. And yes, you may have to give a partial refund. You might not. It really just depends on how you set up your contract and what you've said this whole time. Okay. But unless you set up the contract and you've been reminding the patient the whole time, so many broken brackets, so many lost aligners, so many missed appointments, there will be additional fees. Obviously you can say it in a nice way, but if you have this whole large contract and this whole thing going into it, the patients already know that this is going to happen. So it's probably not going to happen. If you didn't do a good contract and you're not reminding them, well, then they think they can get away with it. So you got to nip it. Couple warnings and you're done, and yeah, you might have to give a partial refund. So that's why don't spend all your money on the front end, because sometimes ortho cases don't get finished and sometimes you have to give partial refunds. It is a race. That's a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes relationships break up, like the orthodontist and the patient just not working, or that treatment plan isn't working for the patient. Even though it might be a 2-year treatment plan, sometimes you got to break up. Sometimes you got to give a partial refund. Don't spend all your money. All right. Thanks so much.